this lifestyle that we was living in versus the life that God really wants for us. And we're right in the middle, and it's heading for a collision course. And we're there at the crossroads, and it's time for us to make a choice. So to make that pivotal decision to say, I choose you, God. I know we live in this lifestyle that the world said is okay, but it's against your standards. I choose you, God. I know that I love this individual, but it's a tainted love. It's a perverse love. It's a warped love. And God was saying, let me show you what real love is. Always persevere. So you think of the clash at the moment or season in our lives. And many, I believe, in my life, that wasn't the first season. That wasn't the only season in my life. I had another season prior to the one I had in 2013 where I had to make the same decision. But God is so merciful that He allows you, when you fall down, to get back up again. That's what it says in the word. A just man falls 7 times, but he gets back up again. And for him to come this time around, in moments with me where I was going through the devastation and loss of my mother, loss of a cousin, and a loss of my aunt, it started to take its toll on me. I started to affect me in such a way that I was like, I can't do this. I can't outrun you, God, and I'm tired. So here it is. I surrender.
My situation, and I remember being at 2 different places every time God dealt with me. I was either at the kitchen table on the computer looking at something specific that was triggering me, and one of the person that was triggering me a lot was Jackie Hill, because I kept following her story, and I even friend her page and was visiting it quite often. And then when I realized it was doing something to me, I unfriended her. And now when I got myself together, I went back to friend her, and she has too many people on her pages now, you can't even friend her. But anyway, so I was following her story for a minute, and I remember having several encounters at that kitchen table, just listening to her talk about her coming out of that lifestyle. So that was one way God was dealing with me, because He knew I needed to hear other people's story. The other times would be when I find myself sitting on the couch and the TV's on, but I'm really not paying attention to the television. My mind is somewhere else. And I'm contemplating about my life, because even though I'm in this relationship and I'm in love with this woman, but I feel alone. And I'm struggling on top of that with commitment issues, because I don't want to stay, because the longer I stay, the more attached I'm becoming, and I don't want to be attached. That's always my struggle, even dealing with family, dealing with friends. I don't like staying in a relationship too long, because eventually it's going to hurt. Eventually it's going to hurt. So I got to bail out. So I can remember there were times sitting at the couch feeling lonely, and then struggling with the thought, stay, go, and then what am I going to, things of that nature, because you don't really want to be alone, but you want to be alone. So God was dealing with that emotion within me as well, because I remember clearly one of the conversations when I noticed you were doing this dance, what I like to call it, back and forth. You were in the relationship, but you were out. You know, you weren't being Felicia in the way that I was accustomed to having a relationship with you. And I remember I had to go to South Carolina for something, and you went with me. And on the way coming back, we had our first real conversation. We had attempted to have one conversation before that, but I don't know, distraction or something preventing us from having a conversation. But now we're in the car, there's no distraction for 2.5 hours, plenty of opportunity to talk, but we didn't talk until after we crossed the North Carolina borderline coming back, and I came a route that I hadn't been in a minute. And then I realized, oh my God, and I don't think I expressed it to you, just, she's struggling just like I am. Okay. And I remember saying to you in the car at that particular point, well, if that's where you at, we don't need to be sleeping in the same room, because I don't want to force you to do one thing or another. You need to be able to make a clean, conscious choice about what you want to do. Because to me, it took me back to when I was a child and I was inappropriately touched and didn't felt like I had a voice to say no. So when you admitted that, that's the way I responded. You know, okay, she has a right. She needs that space so she can make a clear conscience about what she wants to do one way or the other. And I moved out of the room that night. We have never slept in the same bed since then. And even after that, I remember there were a few times, and I don't know how many, you've even asked me to come back into the bedroom because you didn't want to sleep alone, and I refused to do it. Because my mind was made over, but then how do I walk this out? Because this is not what she wants, and I don't know why I'm feeling this way, but it's not really what I want, but I'm not sure what I don't want. Does that make sense?